Virtue of Wisdom of Nagarjuna. 8 Yen Lamat. Composed by the Bodhisattva Nagarjuna and translated by the Tripyakat Harmakarya Kumarajava of the land of Kaucha. Under the later T.S. in. Translated from the French. By Gelongma Karma Migmi Chodron 1. Chapter 32, The Three Concentrations and the Four Trances. First section, the 8 classes of supplementary dharmas. Preliminary note. Sutra. The Bodhisattva Mahasattva must completely fulfill 1. The meditative stabilization of emptiness, the samadhi of signlessness, the samadhi of wishlessness. 2. The four trances. 3. The four immeasurables. 4. The four formless absorptions. 5. The 8 liberations. 6. The 8 spheres of mastery. 7. The 9 successive absorptions. 8. The 10 spheres of totality. Sastra. Question. After the 37 auxiliaries, why does the Prajnaparamita Sutra still speak of these 8 classes of dharmas? Answer. 1. The samadhis. The 37 auxiliaries are the path leading to nirvana. When one follows this path, one reaches the city of nirvana. The city of nirvana has 3 gates: emptiness, signlessness, and wishlessness. Thus, after having spoken about the path in chapter XXXI, it is necessary to speak of the gates that lead into it. 2. Dhyanas and arupyasamapadis. The 4 trances, etc., are dharmas helping to open these gates. Moreover, the 37 auxiliaries are higher and admirable things, but the mind is distracted in the desire realm. Then on what levels and on what means will the yogin depend in order to obtain them? He will depend on the trances of the form realm and on the absorptions of the formless realm. 3. Apramanas, Vimoksas, Abhibhayatvayatas, Navanuparvasamapadis, and Krishnayatanas. In the 4 immeasurables. The 8 liberations, the 8 spheres of mastery, the 9 successive absorptions and the 10 spheres of totality, the yogin is testing his mind to see whether it is flexible, powerful, and docile. It is like the nomad who tests his horse to see whether it is supple and docile and who, only after that, goes into battle. It is the same for the 10 spheres of totality. The yogin contemplates and seizes a blue color, big or small. Then he looks at objects wanting them to be all blue, or else all yellow, all red, all white. Furthermore, in the 8 spheres of mastery, he rules as sovereign over objects. In the first and the last liberation, he considers the body as disgusting, but in the third liberation, on the other hand, he considers it as fine. In the 4 immeasurables, by means of loving kindness, he sees all beings as happy. By means of compassion, he sees all beings as suffering. By means of joy, he sees all beings as rejoicing. Then, with equanimity, setting aside the preceding 3 feelings, he sees beings quite simply without feeling aversion or affection for them. Subjective or objective consideration. Furthermore, there are 2 types of consideration. I. The subjective consideration. 2. The objective consideration. The objective consideration is the 37 auxiliaries of enlightenment. But as this objective consideration is difficult to acquire, it is necessary to follow it up with the subjective consideration. The mind, in the course of the latter, becomes supple, and so it becomes easy to obtain the objective consideration. By using the objective consideration, the 3 gates of nirvana are successfully opened. Second section, the 3 meditative stabilizations. I. The 3 meditative stabilizations according to the Abhidharma. 1. Definitions of the 3 meditative stabilizations. A. Sunyata Samadhi. Question. What is the gate of nirvana called emptiness? Answer. It considers dharmas as empty, without me or mine. Dharmas being the result of a complex of causes and conditions, there is neither agent nor patient. This is what is called the gate of emptiness. 4. More on this gate of emptiness, see what has been said in the chapters on patience and wisdom. B. Anamita Samadhi. Knowing that there is neither me nor mine, why do beings become attached mentally to dharmas? The yogin reflects and says to himself, dharmas being the outcome of causes and conditions, there is no real dharma. There are only characteristics. And beings, seizing these characteristics, become attached to me and mine. Now I must see if these characteristics have a perceptible reality or not. Having examined them and considered them, he determines that they are all non-existent. Whether it is a matter of the male characteristic or of the female characteristic, the characteristics of identity or difference, etc. The reality of these characteristics does not exist. Why? Being without me and mine, all dharmas are empty and, being empty, they are neither male nor female. As for the identity and difference, these are names valid only in the hypothesis of me and mine. This is why male and female, identity and difference, etc. are really non-existent. Furthermore, when the four great elements and derived matter limit the element space, we say there is a body. Then, within a complex of causes and conditions with the inner and outer bases of consciousness, there arises the consciousness element, and the body, making use of this grouping of elements, performs various activities. It speaks, it sits down, it arises, it goes and it comes. This grouping of 6 elements, which is empty of intrinsic nature, is improperly qualified as a man or improperly qualified as a woman. If each of these 6 elements were male, there would have to be 6 men, for it is impossible that 1 equals 6 or that 6 equals 1. But in the earth element, entering into the composition of the body, there is neither male nor female characteristic, and it is the same for the other elements, water, fire, wind, space, and consciousness. If these characteristics do not exist in each of the 6 elements taken separately, neither do they exist in the grouping of these 6 elements. Similarly, if 6 dogs, taken separately, cannot give birth to a lion, neither can they do so taken together, for that is not their nature. Question. Why would there not be male and female? Although the individuals are not different, the parts of the body themselves differ and there are sexual distinctions. The body cannot exist independently of the body parts, and the body parts themselves cannot exist independently of the body. If we see the foot, which is part of the body, we know that there is a whole called body. The body parts, foot, etc., are different from the body, and it is the body that has the male or female characteristics. Answer. The individual has already been refuted above, and I, Kumarajava, have also refuted the characteristics of the body. Now I must repeat myself. If there were a whole called body, all the parts of the body would exist in each part of this body. Each of the parts would exist in every part. If the body existed fully in all of the parts, the foot would exist in the head. Why? Because in the head there is an entire body. If